class. And if you have a pillow or a block or a blanket handy, grab it. We're going to use it for a few poses to open up our shoulders and our chests. Then we're going to start lying down onto our backs. So I want you to grab your pillow or your block, place it on your mat. I want you to lay right on top of it so it can be right at the mid part of your upper chest, right by your shoulder blades. And even if it's just a pillow or just a blanket, it's still lifting you up just a little bit. And we just want to take our arms out to the sides. So if you have room, just space your arms out to the sides. And you'll feel a nice little stretch right there. If you're as tight as me, you'll feel a nice little stretch right in the front of your shoulders. And just close your eyes here. You can take the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side if you want to open up your hips as well. But just start to rest here. Starting by stopping this morning. And as your inhales and exhales get bigger, notice your rib cage expanding and falling. If you'd like to set an intention for this class this morning, this next hour of practice, just to focus on what your body needs, you can go ahead and do that now. Maybe a word or a phrase to carry you through. Continuing to lie here on your mat, I want you to take your legs and straighten them out. So just take the legs, flex them, toes up towards the ceiling, get a little stretch into those calves as you press your heels away from you. And then exhale, just relax those legs, let them go, fall out to the sides. And then we're gonna make a fist with our hands. So I want you to take and make a fist and just let those arms hover above the floor. So you're really squeezing those hands together, maybe even squeezing your chest and your back. And if this is too much for you, if you're on a block, you can come off of the block. But it might help continue to open up your chest if you stay on it. And keep squeezing that chest and back together. Keep squeezing the fists. Then I want you to take the thumb side of the hand up towards the ceiling. Keep squeezing the chest and the back. Exhale, take the palm down so you're rotating all the way in with those shoulders. Inhale, flip the thumb side up towards the ceiling again. Back of the hand goes down, and we're going to flip it all the way around. See if you can't get the thumb side of the hand down towards the floor, keeping your arms covered, squeezing your chest and your back. And then bring the thumbs back up. Exhale, release your arms, reach your hands up towards the ceiling. And then take them straight back towards the wall behind you. Thumb side of your hands facing down towards the floor, reaching your fingertips back towards the wall, straight behind your head. Again, you can let those arms hover. Just feel a little stretch or a little motion of a stretch in your shoulder blades. And then as you have your hands here, try to take those pinkies towards each other. Again, drawing the shoulder blades down towards your toes. Inhale, reach again. Exhale, let's unroll off of our blanket, our block, or our prop. So just roll over to one side, come all the way up into a seat, and you can just take that prop to the side for now. Come back up into a seated position. And just take one foot and then the other in. We're going to continue some work on these shoulders by bringing our arms out in front of us. Taking your left elbow into your right elbow pit and double wrapping into eagle arms if you can. You can continue to close your eyes here. We're just slowly moving into some poses that open up the space in the neck. So lengthen up through your fingertips. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, release gently, lower down. We're just going to switch sides by opening up our arms first, opening up our chest, reaching back wide. And then taking the arms back out in front. This time, right elbow goes into your left elbow pit and double wrap if you can. And if you can't double wrap, you can always just take the backs of the hands together, reaching up. Does the same thing. Drawing your shoulder blades down your back, pulling the core in so that you're sitting up nice and tall, and then just a gentle reach up with your fingertips. Working on some oppositional force. Fingertips up, shoulder blades down. And you feel this stretch right where you need it. You can notice that one side might be a little bit tighter than the other. That's how our neck and our shoulders work sometimes. And this helps correct some of those imbalances. Exhale, release. Release those arms, open them back up wide one more time. Exhale, shake out the arms, give a little bit more blood flow to your hands. And we're going to come out onto our mats in a tabletop position. Inhale, gaze forward, open up your chest, coming into a flat back or a cow pose. And I want you to shake the hips side to side. As you shake one hip to the side, maybe open up that whole side of the body. And then work it back to the opposite. Finding a nice little stretch in your lower back, the side body, your QL muscle. And just go side to side. You can even bend an elbow on one side or the other, whatever feels good. Exhale back into your tabletop position, ground down into your hands, lift your hips up, take it back into your first downward facing dog. And we're going to move kind of slowly through a couple of sun salutations, but I want you to think when you're going into your standing or your upward facing dog, anything that has a slight back bend in it, I want you to think about taking your hips forward and opening up your chest a little bit more than you normally would. Exaggerating the motion a little bit. In your downward facing dog, you bring your core back in. You round out your back slightly. On your last exhale, taking gaze forward, step one foot towards your hands and then the other. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, reach and rise, come all the way up, reach. And as you reach, shift the hips forward, gaze up, open up that chest a little bit. And exhale, we're gonna swan dive, go right back into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold in half. Take your hands to the mat, step the feet back, come into a high plank, shift forward, chaturanga. And as you inhale, come up into your upward facing dog, hold for an extra breath. Hips pressing down and forward into the mat, chest lifting up. You can gaze up towards the ceiling if it's comfortable on your neck. And exhale, downward facing dog. Again, that downward facing dog, as we just opened up the chest, we go into our downward facing dog. We're pulling the core in, rounding out our back. Maybe gazing back towards your thighs or your knees. Last exhale, step or pop forward towards your hands. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold in half. Ground down into your feet. Again, inhale, reach and rise, come all the way up. Press the hips forward, open up your chest, and reach back. Exhale, last one, swan dive, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, step the feet back again, coming into your high plank, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, hold your upward facing dog. Top of the feet on the mat, legs are active, hips are forward, chest is lifting. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Just warming up into your sun salutation, warming up into your chest and your back. Grounding down into that left foot, pressing into your hands. Inhale, lift that right leg straight up towards the ceiling. We're not going to open up the hip too much here. I want you to flex through that heel, pulling the toes towards your right knee. Pressing that heel as if it's going to the back corner of the wall. Exhale, bend into that knee, bring it in close towards your chest. And step the right foot forward towards your hands. Come onto the back, or come onto your left heel. Inhale, reach your arms up as if you're going into a warrior one. But I want you to sink those hips forward, open up your arms into cactus arms. Let those elbows fall out, chest open. Feel it in your rib cage even as you open up your chest. Inhale, reach up, regular warrior. Exhale, straighten through that right leg. Take the hands back behind you, interlace your fingers to open up the chest again. Keep pressing and grounding down and out into both feet, and as you exhale, we're just going to float those hands down around that right foot. I want you to reach your tailbone back towards the wall behind you, lengthen through the top of your head, pull this lower core in, and feel as if you're folding your whole upper body over top of that right leg. Your hands can just fall or lay flat on either side of that right foot, or you can reach them back towards the left foot. Whatever version feels good to you. You should feel a nice stretch in the outside of that right IT band or right hip, right hamstrings, maybe a little in that left calf if you're tight there. Inhale, peel up off of that right leg, press down into your hands, puff up your back a little bit, and we're going to lift that right foot up and drag it back. Downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog here, we're just going to switch to that left side. So ground down into your right foot, lift your left leg up, press that left heel back towards the back corner of the ceiling. Flex those left toes towards your left knee, hold it here. Round out your back, bend that left knee, bring it in toward your nose, big step up in between your hands. Take the right heel down into the mat, deep bend into your left knee, and reach it up. Same thing here as you reach up, open it up, cactus arms, let your elbows fall out, let your chest open. You can drop your head back or you can keep your neck neutral. And if the neck is bothering you, chin towards the chest. So you have options. Inhale, reach those arms up back to a normal warrior one. Exhale, straighten through that front leg. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers, open up your chest again. And on your exhale, float those hands down around your left foot. Same thing here, going into our pyramid pose. I want you to lengthen through the top of your head first. Shift that tailbone back towards the wall behind you so you get an extra stretch in that left hamstring. Balancing out your hips, reach to the top of your head, fold all the way over top of that left leg. Same thing, hands can just stay up by your left foot or you can reach them back. Inhale, look up halfway. Take an exhale, place those hands back up around that left foot, press into your hands, puff up your back. See if you can't lift that left leg, drag it back to meet your right. Back into your downward facing dog. Shift forward into a high plank. We're just gonna lower down onto our mats here. Chest or stomach all the way down onto the mat. And I want you to take your hands out to your side, so off of the mat. Off of the mat and take the fingertips onto the mat. So the elbows are up, the fingertips are on the mat, and we're just pressing into those hands, lifting our chest up. You can keep the legs active, but they are laying all the way on the mat. And exhale, lower down. And then work the hands back just a little bit. Elbows still go up towards the ceiling, press into those fingertips, lift up your chest. You can look forward or start to look up. Exhale, lower down. One more time. You can keep your hands right where they are. You can move them back more, whatever feels good to you. Press into those fingertips, elbows up towards the ceiling, open up your chest. Exhale, lower down. Bring the hands back in close, press into your hands, take your sit bones back down towards your heels. Coming into a child's pose, straightening and lengthening out your spine. Take a big breath in and exhale, just drop your forehead down towards the mat. Inhale, roll back up, tabletop position. From your tabletop position here, since we just used some muscles in our spine, I want to work it out with a twist. So ground down into your left hand, reach your right arm all the way up. And as you reach your right arm up, think about opening up your rib cage, opening up your chest. Exhale, thread that right hand through your left hand and your left knee comes down onto your right shoulder. Just a simple thread the needle pose here. Keep your core active. If you want to reach the hand out or wrap the hand behind, you can. But again, take big breaths into those shoulders, into the chest, the muscles that hug onto your neck. Last exhale, release that left hand, bring it back down onto the mat. Inhale, unravel, reach and lengthen all the way up. Open up your chest as you reach up. Exhale, right hand floats down onto the mat. We're just gonna switch sides. Left arm reaches up. I want you to think about feeling a nice psoas stretch in your body as you reach up. Exhale, thread the left hand through your right hand and your right knee. Come down onto that left shoulder. Left ear drops down towards the mat. Same thing here, either reaching the right arm out or wrapping it behind your back. Last exhale, release that right arm from your back, place it back down onto the mat. Lift yourself all the way up, reach up through your left hand. Exhale, drop that hand back down onto the mat. Ground down into your hands, lift your hips up and back, come into your downward facing dog again. We're gonna go through that flow that we just did. We're just gonna go through it a little bit faster, 2 more times. But still getting a nice stretch and holding for a breath or 2 in each pose. But just making it a little bit more fluid. Grounding down into your left foot, lift and reach up through that right heel. Exhale, step, take a big step forward towards your hands. Deep bend into your right knee, turn your left foot in. Reach your arms up. As you reach your arms up, open up your chest. Bend into those elbows, look up. Inhale up. Exhale, straighten through that right leg. Bring your hands back behind you to open up your chest again. Just squeeze those fists together, draw those hands back and down. And then exhale as you release, fold over top of that right straight leg. And as you fold over top of the right leg, reach that tailbone back towards the wall behind you and keep lengthening through your spine, through the top of your head. We're gonna add one more pose here. Inhale, look up halfway, keep pressing down into that right foot. Take the weight forward into your right foot, lift your left leg up towards the ceiling, fold again over top of the right leg. Keep lifting that left foot up as you fold over top of the right. Exhale, take that left foot back down onto the mat, press into your hands, puff up your back, lift the right leg up, and back, downward facing dog. Switching sides, ground down into your right foot, lift your left foot up. Flex through that left foot, pull those toes towards your knees, strong leg. Exhale, bend into your knees, step it forward towards your hands, warrior 1. Ground down into your feet as you inhale, reach your arms up and open into cactus arms. Inhale, reach. Exhale, straighten through that left leg. Bring the hands back behind you. Squeeze those palms together. Open up your chest. Exhale, float the hands forward, fold. Same thing, long spine, chest over top of that left leg. Adding a pose here, ground down into those hands, take the weight forward into your left foot, come up into a standing split, reach that right leg up towards the ceiling, fold over top of your left straight leg. Keep kicking that right leg up as you fold. Exhale, right foot floats back down onto the mat, ground down into your hands, puff up your back, step the left foot back to meet your right. Big breaths. Gaze forward towards your hands, rock forward into your high plank pose, lower all the way down into your stomach. Just place the hands out to your sides, fingertips onto the mat, open up your chest as you lift. Exhale, lower. Take the hands back just a little bit, press into your fingertips, elbows up towards the ceiling, open up your chest, legs stay active. Exhale, lower down. Place the hands onto the mat, engage your core, hips and back towards your heels. Child's pose. Stretch out your back, take a big inhale, expand into your rib cage, and exhale, just drop the top of the head or the forehead down onto the mat. And inhale, ground down into your hands, lift your hips back up, downward facing dog. Last round on our flow here, ground down into your feet, lift that right leg up, strong leg lifts. Exhale, float that foot through, meet to your hands, left foot onto the mat, reach up. Warrior one. Open up, maybe you open up a little bit bigger than you have before. Inhale, reach. Exhale, straighten through that leg, float the hands back, interlace your fingers, open up your chest. Both legs are straight. Exhale, fold. Just folding over top of that right leg. Tailbone back, chest forward, head forward. Take the weight into that right foot, shift forward, lift your left leg up, continue to fold over top of the right straight leg. Exhale, lower that left leg down, puff up your back, press into your hands, lift that right leg up and back, downward facing dog. Switching sides, press into your right foot, lift your left leg up, flex through your heel, pull your toes in. Exhale, round out your back, step that left foot forward towards your hands. Inhale, reach up, warrior one, and open. Inhale, lift. Exhale, straighten through the left leg, bring your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers, squeeze those hands together. Exhale, float the hands down around that right foot, fold over your left foot, fold over top of your left foot. Inhale, lengthen up halfway, press into that left foot, step and lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Fold over top of your left leg. This time as you exhale, just step the right foot down to meet your left heel toe, those feet out. Toes out towards the corner edges of the mat. We're just going to sink into a little squat. So as you sink into a little squat, if you have your block handy, if you need it, you can always place a block underneath of your hips. So I want you to take the hands into prayer and feel like you're pressing the backs of the arms into your legs, kind of wiggling and settling into this little squat. And that might take a little bit of shifting around for you if you have a tight hip, one hip tighter than the other, so take your time. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. So trying to keep the back flat, tailbone down towards the mat, and all of the toes onto the mat. On your last exhale, take the hands to the mat. We're going to lift the hips up, keep pressing into your feet. Lift your hips up, heel to those feet back together or closer together, but still hip width apart. Inhale, lengthen through the top of your head. I want you to feel like you're pressing down into your feet and then peeling the mat apart in the middle. So press down into all of your toes, ground down into those feet. Feel like you're splitting your mat in half right in between your feet. That's going to open up your hips. You're going to feel your hips opening and stretching these muscles that hug onto your sacrum. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Reach to the top of your head. Keep pulling your core in. And exhale, fold. As you fold, just gently bend into either knee. Let go of that hold with your feet. You can grab onto opposite elbows. Let your whole upper body hang in this ragdoll here. And then I want you to take your head and shake it just side to side. Yes or no. Let that head release. As your head, the top of your head, as that whole head starts to release, feel the release in your neck, the muscles that hang onto your neck. Maybe even feel a little muscle letting go in your shoulder blades. Take a few more breaths here. Don't hold your head tight, just let it go. If those holding patterns start to come back, take a big breath in, shake your head just gently side to side again. Exhale, drop the hands onto the mat. Step the feet back. Downward facing dog. Just to stretch out those hamstrings one more time, holding that pose for a little bit. Gets into our hamstrings. Almost makes you feel like your feet are going to fall asleep. So I want you to bend into one knee and then the other. Just walk the dog a little bit. And then step the feet through to come into a seated position on your mat. Take the legs out straight in front of you, toes up towards the ceiling, sit up nice and tall. Just find your balance here. This pose, trying to look at your feet, toes up towards the ceiling. Notice if one foot's maybe further than the other, or notice if one hip is shifted forward more than the other. Just take into account of this straight line in your body. And then keeping that left leg where it is, I want you to bend your right knee, bring it in close to your chest. And then I want you to take that knee out to the side as you lift your right foot up. And bring that right foot right in towards your left hip crease. So if it can't go all the way into your hip crease, that's fine. It can be down onto your knee. But I want that leg up knee is closed, foot comes in, but I want you to take it a little bit further over this time. So more like ankle, heel in that hip crease. You might feel more of a stretch in your hip. And from here, we're just folding forward. So I want it to be a little fold. I want you to think about stretching all of this in your lower back before we fold and grab right a hold of our foot. So lengthen through the upper body, long, long spine, and fold. And then from there, you can walk those hands forward. The left leg stays active, pressing forward. And then your head and everything upper body is reaching forward and over. And from here, if it's comfortable to grab onto your foot to have a little bit more leverage, you're welcome to. And inhale, come all the way up. And to come out of this pose safely, our knee stays bent and then straightens out. We're gonna switch sides, right leg stays out straight, left leg comes in. And you can take that left foot, just like you're going into a Janu Sirsasana A, foot in towards your right inner thigh. And then lift the leg up and take it over, ankle toward your hip. So exaggerating these poses a little bit more than we normally do. So my foot is over, toes are hanging off. So think almost as if those hips are going to stay in a nice, even, balanced way rather than one hip being out more. So it's tucked in. And then reach out and over. Some of you may feel more of a stretch doing it this way. Inhale, come up. Take an exhale, safely release that leg. Take it out straight. Take those feet side to side, relax your hips. So we're getting kind of deep to this hip stretch, and we're gonna throw one extra in, but then we're gonna try full lotus. So the one extra that we're gonna try to throw in is this log pose, or seated pigeon. So I want you to take your left leg, shin parallel to that front edge of your mat. And the feet don't have to be flexed here, but we're doing a similar thing where we take this right ankle past our left knee. So right ankle past your left knee. The legs are stacked. I'll face you. But our shins are stacked right on top of each other. You don't want one foot in and one knee out. And you don't want that ankle right on top of your knee. You want it just a little bit past. That makes sense? And if you're just working on it, go the best you can. So sit up tall here and then start to put out that fire by folding forward. And I'm going to show my camera the same thing. So you want your ankle just past your knee, your shin parallel to the front edge of your mat. So the legs are stacked. And starting to fold forward, feeling a nice deep stretch into your hip. This pose is great for opening up those hips for lotus. It's hard. It gets deep into your hip flexors, deep into your hip socket. All those muscles are wrapping around your hip. And then inhale, come up. Exhale. Gently take it off, straighten the legs out in between just to kind of give them a little bit of a reset and to get that fluid flowing back into your joint. And we're going to switch sides. The right leg goes underneath this time. Left leg comes up. Ankle goes just past that knee. And this is if you can get the ankle past the knee. If you can't, work the best way you can, where you are. If you have those legs stacked, sit up nice and tall, and this might be enough of a stretch for you. If you can feel more of a stretch and you can go further, just start hinging forward at your waist to fold. I call it putting out the fire because you feel the fire. You start to feel the fire as you fold. And on your exhale, come all the way up. Again, release those legs, take them out straight. That sends that fluid all the way back into your hips. All the way back into your hips. And now we're going to try our full lotus. And this full lotus, this version is a little bit different than what we normally do because it's trying to make your lotus a little bit tighter. So I know some of you do have lotus, and this is going to feel like it's a tighter lotus even for you. So start right leg first. I know a lot of you like to switch it up and do left leg first, but we're supposed to do right leg first. So we're gonna try it out. And then we can switch and do it our own way, okay? So right leg first, I want you to bend that knee the same way we did when we went into half lotus. You're taking the foot in and you're bringing it over. So you want that hip to stay even. Those hips are balanced. One hip isn't open, one hip isn't too far in. They're balanced, they're even. And then from there, you just kind of try to relax that knee a little bit and you bring the left leg in. So this is half lotus, where you bring the left leg in. I want that right foot to try to stay in the same spot, where the knee is forward. Think about squeezing it in. And from there, if you can, and if you can safely, take the bottom of the left foot, start dropping that right knee down. See if you can't bring the left leg in. And if you bring the left leg in, same thing, we're trying to keep it snug. So we're trying to keep, almost as if you're squeezing those knees together. You don't have to squeeze the knees together, but think, if you did it for a breath, those hips are gonna go back into even. And so I'm gonna turn my hips so that you can see them. So if your lotus is out here, more one hip is up, one hip is down, one knee is up more. When I fold, it's just a very loose lotus. When we take it in a little bit tighter, left foot or right foot in and over, left foot in and over. I'm still a little crooked because my hips are a little crooked, but hips are down onto the mat more. I'm more evenly folding forward over top of the lotus when you fold forward. It's just a tighter lotus. Keeps the hips even. And sometimes it's safer to get into than other version. Does that make sense? This is right. This isn't the way I always go either. So then gently take it out. Unravel your lotus, same thing, take the legs out straight first so that you get that fluid going back into your knees, back into your ankles, your feet. And then if there's any way that you prefer to do lotus, you can certainly have at it. But the safest way to open up the hips more to get deeper into certain poses is to tighten it up a little bit. So let's take a fold forward. Inhale, lengthen through the top of your head. Exhale, fold over top of those legs. Inhale. Take an exhale, come up and lower down onto your backs. And since we just worked out our hips a little bit doing our lotus pose, we've opened up our shoulders, we've opened up our chest. I want you to take the soles of the feet onto the mat. Wiggle those feet out a little bit further than your hips. Knees up towards the ceiling. We're going to continue doing just a few hip rolls or pelvis rolls on the mat to get our psoas muscle working and make connection with our lower back and our sacrum that we've worked those muscles on either side of. So grounding down into your feet. I want you to start by taking the pelvis up towards the ceiling, tailbone down towards the mat. So your rib cage is going to lift up, your hips are going up. And then we're going to take it down, flat back towards the mat, tailbone lifts up towards the ceiling, core is active, core pulls in. And exhale, tailbone down towards the mat, hips shift forward, rib cage lifts. You're opening up this whole psoas muscle, the core is loose. And then as you exhale, you pull the tailbone up towards the ceiling, core is engaged, core tucks in, you're using that psoas muscle. You're closing that core. Exhale, tailbone down towards the mat, hips lift up, chest lifts up, open up that psoas muscle. And exhale, roll it back down. Tailbone up, use the core, squeeze it in. Exhale, just come back to a neutral, shake those knees side to side. And now we're going to lift up into a bridge pose, or you can lift up into a full back bend if you have a full back bend. But before we go into the bridge pose, I want us to do that anterior tilt. Sorry, I get my anterior and posterior mixed up. I'm pretty sure anterior tilt is tilting forward. But ground down into your feet, tilt that pelvis forward, tailbone down towards the mat where the chest is open. And I want you to start your back bend here because you're already in a back bend. You're just not pressing into your feet. So even if you're doing bridge pose or you're going into a full back bend, try to start here. Pelvis forward, tailbone down, ribs up, press into your feet, lift it up. And then from there, you're not trying to exaggerate anymore. You're already in that back bend. You'll already feel those muscles across your lower back working. So now shift your knees forward, lift those hips up higher. Knees forward, hips up higher, squeeze a ball with your inner thighs. Lift. Notice little muscles, maybe more on one side than the other working. And exhale, slowly lower all the way back down. And here we take the back flat onto the mat. Bring one knee in towards your chest, then the other. Give them a hug. Shake your head side to side to relax your neck. And if there's anything else that your body is calling for before Shavasana, you can go ahead and do that now. If you need a twist or a shoulder stand, a happy baby pose, maybe a figure four position, anything that your body needs. You can close your eyes, take a few breaths in and out. To do a body scan, think about what the body needs. And if it just needs a longer Shavasana, you can lay out onto your mat. Taking your awareness back to your chest, back to your shoulders. Everything that we started relaxing this morning, that we started opening. Just imagine your rib cage and your shoulders. Imagine those bones, what they look like, how they're set up, as if you're looking at a skeleton. Picture those bones. Now picture the muscles that attach to those bones. And even if you don't know every specific muscle, just get that image of what the muscles would look like on top of the skeleton, on top of those bones. Now I want you to think of something that melts. Think of cooking butter or coconut oil, how it's in a solid and then it melts. Ice cream. Envision something that melts and just watch it melt. And as you watch it melt, allow your shoulders to melt, your chest to melt. And taking that melting sensation all the way throughout your body. Before you start to move your body, bring your awareness back to your intention that you set this morning. That word or that phrase, if you had one. Just as you take your few last breaths in Shavasana, repeat that mantra or that word. Whenever you're ready, gently wiggle, shake your head side to side. Bring some movement into your body. Bring your knees in toward your chest. Rock over to your right side. Make your way up to a seat. Whenever you're ready. Bring your hands together. Take a big breath in. Let it go. We'll close out our practice this morning. The word that means the light in me honors the light in you. As the light in you honors the light in me. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching.